I'm in Houston. Just flew in from Little Rock. And while I was on the plane, flying here, I was reading a TED Talk book that my buddy Tom gave me a little while back. And you know, there's just something inside each one of us where I believe that we're destined for certain things. And I've been working offshore. I've been waiting to go back to work for 4 months. Finally got a call. They're sending me back out. I'm a ROV pilot, and technician, so I work on remotely operated vehicles. And cool job. We do some cool stuff. Really, really, really just awesome stuff. And I've always just believed in kind of following your dreams and following where you're led, and every fiber of my being tells me I wasn't made for that. Like I'm not made for this. Dropping napkins. But I'm not made for it. I was made for something else. And for the last 6 years of my life, I've been fighting to be a father to my kids. And I go and I talk all across this country. I've engaged now current presidents, vice presidents, governors, ran for governor. Everything that I do revolves around, and what I'm passionate about, fighting for parents and fighting for kids, and fighting for just natural rights that we're born with. And my destiny is somewhere else. It's not working offshore. It's not being an ROV pilot. I'm not that great of a technician anyway. I'm not very mechanically or electrically inclined anyway. Pretty good pilot, I think. So I got some ice cream to celebrate. Quitting my job. I've never got to quit a job before, ever. I always thought I'd quit like I'd go to work at McDonald's and quit that or something. But I didn't. I'm quitting a really good job. Yeah, I'm at Bush, and I need a ride. And maybe a couch to crash on right now. I needed to go to work. I've been off work for 4 months. I don't really have any money. I might have like $30 in my pocket and not much more in my bank account. So I'm quitting. So to my boss, Lisa, I'm sorry. I know you're going to be pissed. My kids need me. I got to go fight for my kids. And I can't do it out in the Gulf of Mexico. I got to go fight for other people and their kids. And that's going to cause me, I'm going to have to raise some hell. And that might not look so good for your company. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Every fiber of my being and my gut and everything inside me tells me I was built for something else, and this ain't it. So I'm standing here, I think I'm at George Bush. Funny, I flew from the Clinton airport to the George Bush airport. And I got a mocha ice cream with some Oreo cookie mixed in to celebrate quitting my job. And there's a fly, he wants some of it too. Look at him, little bastard. That's kind of like an attorney right there. You see that? They'll come in and attach themselves to something in your life because they think they deserve it too. Everything that you worked for. you know what? Get your ass off here. That's how I treat attorneys. Shitty judges. Get off my damn ice cream. I'm eating it. Rat bastard. So that's it. Kash Jackson needs to get his ass back to Arkansas because he's going to Tulsa, freaking Oklahoma. And by God, me and the president are going to talk. We're going to talk about why I can't be a father and why you can't be a mom or dad to your kids. Because this is bullshit. And I got something to say about it. So I need some help out of Houston. I'll pay you back. I might have to sell some of my shit, but I'll pay you back. I promise. You can send me a couple bucks. Whatever you send me, I will send it back. I do promise. I'll get home and I'll sell some of my shit. I'll pawn it. I'll come cut your yard, pressure wash your house, whatever you need. You know, give you a foot rub, whatever. But I gotta get to Tulsa. But first, I need to get back to Arkansas, get some shit, and take my ass to Tulsa, Oklahoma this weekend. Because me and the president need to talk. One way or another. Me and Donald Trump are going to sit down and we're going to talk about family law. Kim Ray, a couple bucks. Or a ride out of Houston or Bush Airport. I hate asking for money, but I'm kind of in a tight spot. Keith, fiance's in Arkansas. I'm in Houston. I don't know what my PayPal is. If you want to send me a couple bucks, you can send it right through Facebook Messenger. That's pretty easy. I send money to people through there all the time. I sent some money to a homeless guy the other day through there. In fact, I got to check on this homeless guy named Earl in southern Arkansas when I get back. Told him I'd help him get a place. I'm probably going to have to sell some of my shit to help Earl get his own apartment. That's okay, because I made Earl a promise. So Kash Damn Jackson's going to Tulsa. Like I said I was. Work just happened to call and interfere with it a couple days ago and say, hey, we're sending you back out. Go figure. It's a bunch of bullshit. I wasn't made for it anyway. Talked to 2 police officers up here, and guess what? One of these police officers I was talking to, he been through the ringer himself. What's up, brother?
What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
All right now.
Is that your barbecue I smell?
Yeah.
What you grilling?
We did fajita meat, ribs, chicken, deer sausage.
What'd you say, what kind of sausage?
Deer sausage.
Deer sausage? You still got some?
There's some still in there.
What was y'all barbecuing for?
Just us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, little unit cohesion, little brotherhood.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Well, I just quit my job, and I'm celebrating.
Quit it?
I quit it. I was on my way to, I'm doing a live feed right now on my page. I was on my way to Louisiana, going back out to the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay.
And I kind of, for the last several years, I've been on this kind of... No, I do. I'm an ROV pilot, technician, but I've been on this journey fighting for parental rights, father's rights, children's rights. Been going through a bad court case,
Right.
so fighting to be a father to my own kids.
Right.
And I was on the plane flying here, and I was reading a TED Talk book, and my buddy sent me a while back, and man, it just dawned on me like I wasn't made for this. I was made for something else. So I'm going back. Following my heart. That's what I'm doing. And I feel good about it. I feel good about it. They feel good about it.
That's good.
Yep. You got barbecue, man. I'll take some.
Other officers ain't ate yet, man.
Oh, it's for officers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, man. I ain't taking none from no officer. I was just up there talking to 2 officers upstairs in the terminal.
Yeah.
And one of them gentlemen, he was telling me the same thing. He said that, he went through, many years of fighting to be a father.
I did too.
And you did too.
When I
See here?
I got out of the military.
Yep, me too. I was at my 19-year mark in the Navy.
Yep.
See there? Another father over here. I'm not going to put your face on camera if you don't want it.
Appreciate it.
Another father sitting over here, a police officer. He been through it too. He got out of the military, had to fight to be a dad. Everywhere I go, it's everywhere. Upstairs, upstairs talking to a police officer, he went through it. This police officer went through it. It's everywhere. It's crazy. So I'm going to Tulsa. I'm sorry, man. I thought you guys was just out barbecuing and selling.
I know, everybody keeps stopping and asking. I'm selling.
I bet you can smell it from around the corner.
We just trying to do something for the officers.
For the officers? Yeah, that's good for you. Good for you guys. I appreciate you, man. Hey, y'all be good.
You be safe.
Y'all be safe too. Good man. I gotta get a ride somewhere. Nah, those guys gotta eat. Maybe I have to go in here and get a rental car or something. Rebecca, I was a reserve sheriff's deputy for a little bit. These fellas gotta eat. For those of you who just joined me, I'm in Houston right now. Finally got a call back from work. Been laid off for 4 months, waiting to go back. Finally got a call. Said, hey, we need you out. They booked me a flight yesterday. Got on my plane out of Little Rock, flew into Houston. And on that flight, it just, before I even left, every fiber of my being was telling me, you ain't made for this. You're not made to do this. You're made for something else. And I can't ignore the fact that the last 4 to 6 years of my life have been me fighting for parents and kids across this country, my own kids. They're all completely joined, and whether by some design or if this is what God had intended for me, the universe, I don't know. I don't understand it. But I'm going. Kash Damn Jackson's going to go to Tulsa. I'm going to wear my uniform on the 20th, and I know that's a big no-no. I know it's a big no-no, and if the military wants to bring me back on active duty and punish me for that, if the military wants to punish me for fighting to be a father to my kids, then so be it. Punish me. If they want to punish me for supporting and defending the Constitution the way that I swore to, and the way that I still owe the people of the United States that, if they want to punish me for that, then punish me. I'll take whatever licks come. But, God will make it right. One way or another, it's going to be made right. I'm tired of seeing American citizens suffer. I'm tired of my children suffering. I'm tired of myself suffering. And I'm just not going to... Somebody trying to call me. You can't try to call me while I'm in the middle of a broadcast. Come on, man. So I'm going to wear my uniform. I'm going to wear my uniform to the Trump rally. I'll go to Joe Biden rallies. I'll go to Joe Jorgensen rallies. I'll go to all of them. But I'm going to do what I got to do. Until this is made right, until this is fixed, I'm going to do what I have to do to make it right. So I'm quitting my job, Lisa. I hope you don't hold it against me, but my kids need me. My country needs me. And you can find somebody else that can turn a wrench better than I can, because I'm not that great at it anyway. Stop hollering. So I need a ride out of the Houston airport over here, George Bush. I know where the hell I'm at. Terminal B. Door B102 North, I guess. That's where I'm at right now. B102. Yeah, Campbell, I was in the middle of a feed, so they can wait. I'll try calling them back here in a minute. I'm not going anywhere. So I'm going to go to every single rally I can. And if you can help me go to these rallies, and do what I got to do, I would appreciate it. Just sit down over here. There we go. Matt Whitmire. That's kind of a shitty presumption you just made there, bud. So your plan is to collect unemployment. You're going to leech off the rest of us if you can, because you want to go to a Trump rally. You're an asshole. If you're standing in front of me, I'd tell you that in your face. You're an asshole. At no point in time did I ever say, I'm going to collect unemployment. I didn't file for unemployment for the 4 months that I've been out of work. I've lived off my military benefits. Just barely gets me to the end of the month there, guy. Clown. Man, why do some people gotta be so damn stupid? Lord. I swear, dude. Try being a human being for once. Everybody's always so quick to assume. You're gonna collect unemployment, leave out the rest of it. Brandon, if you want to help me out, man, you can send it over to my messenger. John, I never collected unemployment, ever. Lee Garcia. Yeah, it's kind of America, right? I can go where I want. I spent 20 years in the military. Last I checked, I defended the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, which includes whatever state you happen to reside in there, smart guy. So I don't give a shit if you agree with Donald Trump or who you're voting for. Children and the right to be a parent is nonpartisan. This isn't a partisan issue. It's nonpartisan. You're following a pedophile. You can't have it. Shut up. Keith, get off here. As you ask for handouts. Guess what? It's voluntary, dumb shit. So if you don't like it, kick rocks. Because there's plenty of parents out there, myself included, that want somebody that's going to go to a Trump rally and make some noise. And you're too much of a coward to do it. So you sit your ass on your couch, you do whatever you got to do. I'll find my own way. I've got plenty of friends all across this country. I don't need men like you. You're not even a man. Alan, Trump is the current president. So whether you like it or not, he's the commander-in-chief, and that's the person that needs to address this issue right now. Joe Biden's a kid-touching pedophile. I don't expect him to do a damn thing because he didn't do shit for his 40 years in Congress. And I don't expect him to do shit now. As far as I can tell, he's the only, current president's the only man that's willing to get it done. So there's that. Like that guy had 40 years to get some shit done, and what's he done? Nothing. Nothing. Except sniff kids, like scratch and sniff on 8-year-olds. That's what he does. So I'll find a way to make money. I'll cut grass from here to California and back up to friggin' Massachusetts and Maine, all the way down to Florida. I'll travel around with a push mower. You want me to friggin' mow your lawn? I'll make my own money. If somebody loans me a couple dollars to get the hell out of Houston, I'll pay the damn money back, jacktard. And I'm quitting my job because it's not nearly as important as my children. My kids are the most important. So I'm going to go fight for my children. You can do whatever it is that you're going to do, go make some other guy wealthy. I'm not doing that. I worked in the oil industry. I know what their profits look like. They make shit tons of money, and they don't pay me enough anyway to be gone that long from home. Get a job, slacker. I got one, Pat. Guess what? It's called selflessly volunteering my life to fight for children in this country. That's my job, and I don't get paid shit to do it. But you would demand to get paid, wouldn't you? I'm not demanding to get paid. Dante's got 3 jobs. I can work tomorrow and I'll pay you $15 an hour. Well, if you're close to here, I'll work it. If you're close to Houston, I'll work it. Give me some gas money, something to get my ass back up to Arkansas. There's plenty of opportunity in this country, and I don't believe for one moment that working my ass offshore 12-hour days, 7 days a week, breaking my back for the oil company, for some CEO who's making millions of dollars anyway. Fuck them. Excuse my language. Virtue signaling piece of shit. I hope you're not talking to me. I hope you're not talking to me. You got the wrong guy. You got me all wrong. Matt Whitmire didn't fight for any freedoms anybody has. He maybe fought in a money war. Well, if you want to talk about foreign policy, we can talk about that another day. That's not what this conversation is for. You cannot deny that in this nation right now, with 20 million American children growing up absent their biological fathers, that the current system is working to our benefit as a society. Now, can you? Could you at least agree with me that whether you're a Democrat or Republican, that both get treated like shit in family law courts and they bankrupt you, making you fight to be a parent to your children? Can we agree on that? I think that's a pretty nonpartisan issue that we could all come to the middle of the aisle and agree upon. Lee Garcia, I'll answer you guys' questions, whatever you guys got. Chris Cole, yeah, if you're in Houston, I don't know where you're at, man. If you want to meet me, come meet me. When the facts come out, trolls get louder. You damn right. This is a nonpartisan issue, and Democrats and Republicans alike should be able to agree upon this. Equal shared parenting in this country would eliminate or severely reduce high school dropout rates, Matt. If we reduce high school dropout rates, guess what else we reduce? We reduce the chances of somebody living on poverty. If we reduce their chances of living on poverty, we also reduce their chances of getting pregnant as teenagers, having abortions, joining gangs, committing violent crime. This is an argument being made in the black community, the Hispanic community. I just talked to 2 black police officers, one right upstairs, okay, and one right over here. And this guy was a veteran. Both of those guys, I quit my job 10 minutes ago, said I'm going to follow my dream. I'm going to go and fight for kids. I'm going to go and fight for my children. I'm going to go and fight for parents. I got me an ice cream cone to celebrate because I've never quit a job before. That's the first time ever in my 42 years on this earth that I've ever quit a job. But I talked to 2 police officers, and both of them had to fight to be dads in their kids' lives. Everywhere I go, people, the need is so great, we should all be able to agree on this. Yeah, I'm pretty right-leaning, libertarian, conservative, so what? But none of those issues, all of those issues aside, could we at least agree that if you're a parent and you've never been found to be unfit, you shouldn't have to go bankrupt fighting to be a parent? This is common sense, people. I mean, it's common sense. And I did this live feed the other night, and holy shit, I can't believe there's 1,000 people on here. It's insane to me. I'm not that intelligent of a guy, and I'm certainly not that good looking, but I'm at least smart enough to apply a little common sense. That I shouldn't take all of my life savings and transfer it all to an attorney who charges me $350, $400 an hour to be a father to my kids. That's insane. It's stupid. And somebody needs to fight for it. And the legislators across this country aren't doing it, so somebody's got to do it. I volunteer for the Fathers' Rights Movement. They're a 501c3. They're a nonprofit organization. They do a ton of work. I mean, they support so many fathers. I mean, I just talked to another veteran 2 nights ago. Hasn't seen his daughter here in Texas, as a matter of fact, up near Dallas, in Dallas County, he said. Hasn't seen his daughter in years, and the guy is on the brink of killing himself. Everywhere I go, there are parents who, think about killing themselves, and they go bankrupt. This should be an easy fix, folks. This isn't hard. This isn't rocket science. Let parents be parents. Stop bankrupting them. Texas is one of the worst. They're atrocious down here how they treat parents. I know, because I've got so many friends down here that are going through it. Yeah, and everybody that attaches himself to it. Yeah, Chandra Day, thank you. Lawyers, mediators, therapists. It's this gigantic cottage industry of leeches that affix themselves to this. Let me ask you this is on the real. What type of sense does it make if you're a parent, you're going through a breakup with a person that you loved and you cherished, you're going through a breakup with them, you're already very emotional. You're already hurt. There's a lot of pain and anguish already. Now what happens when one parent's being driven out of the children's lives? And when these unscrupulous dirtbag attorneys recommend to one of their clients, go get an order of protection. They don't punish perjury in these courts, so it's okay. You can fill out and write all these lies down on a piece of paper. You don't need proof anyway. They're not even going to look for the proof. The standard of evidence is preponderance. And the person you're accusing, they're not even going to be in the courtroom when you accuse them. And I promise you, nothing's going to happen. And then they put fathers like me on this uphill battle, fighting to be in their kids' lives. And so I'm going to go across this country. If I have to follow Donald Trump all the way across this country, that's what I'm going to do. Good question, Justin. You have, why can't I see my kids? My story's long, it's complex, and it's convoluted. But on the short end of that answer is, I'm a whistleblower. I'm a retired Navy veteran. When I experienced it in the 19th Judicial Circuit in the state of Illinois, and I saw what was transpiring, I spoke up. I did what I was trained to do. You see something wrong, you say something. See something, say something. We hear that all the time, especially in the military. You see something, you say something. Something doesn't feel right, something doesn't look right, you say something. And I did. I did what the military trained me to do. I said, this isn't right. You can't do this to people. And I spoke up about it. And so what was the judge's response? To punish me. Reprisal after reprisal after reprisal. Why? Why do they do that? Because they have absolute immunity. We're talking in this country about ending qualified immunity for police officers. Why aren't we talking about ending absolute immunity for judges? In the state of Texas, there was a case here a few years back where a judge, there was a defense attorney that didn't come to court. The judge got pissed. The judge ordered the police officers to go pick him up and then rough him up. This is a no-shit case, to go rough up this attorney. And the United States Supreme Court held that because he was acting in his official capacity as a judge and he had absolute immunity, there was nothing that could be done to him. That is how outrageous our country has become. That a judge can order police officers to go pick somebody up and rough them up, and under absolute immunity, they're protected. The same as my judge, previous judge, Joseph Salvi. He's a coward. He's a spineless, feckless coward that should be tarred and feathered in the streets of Lake County, Illinois. And these people that are abusing citizens across this country should be. I don't care who they are. I love the police. I got lots of buddies that are police officers. The greatest threat to good police officers are bad police officers. And in the case of these egregious violations of citizens' rights, they should be tarred and feathered. Pour a little syrup all over them, slap some freaking chicken feathers on them, make them walk around the town square. You know what I mean? Let the world see who they are. So I'm going to go fight for my children. I did this live feed the other night. Why am I going to follow Trump? Well, so a couple reasons. Number one, I was in the military. I supported and defended the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, right? And no matter who my commander-in-chief was, even if I didn't agree with a lot of their decisions, I did my best to support them. But what a lot of Trump supporters have wrong is, the man is a man, and he has flaws. And we should be honest enough to say, these are Donald Trump's flaws, this is what he's getting wrong. We should be able to say those things. I don't work for Donald Trump. He works for us. You understand that? He is not my boss. He's arrogant, he's pompous, he says a lot of off-the-wall shit, but I've seen him do really good things. How do I know? My friend Shane Bouvet, up in Illinois, you can look up the story, Shane Bouvet. And I became close with him and his father and his mom, good people. And Donald Trump paid for all of his dad's cancer treatments. He didn't have to do that. And that's a buddy of mine. Another father also fighting to be in his kids' lives, or in his son's life. And my friend Shane never used that opportunity to try and get Donald Trump to intervene in his personal case. A testament to my friend's character. He's got flaws like any other man out there, but he's a good dad. And I've seen Donald Trump do good things in this country and do good things for people. And if we quit tearing everybody down, and the president's guilty. I'm guilty. I've torn people down. I've said really terrible things towards people. Okay? But we're all human beings. We all have flaws. We have to stop tearing everybody down because of our shortcomings as human beings. So today, I'm glad there's 1,200 of you on here, on a flight from Arkansas to Houston. I was going back out to the Gulf of Mexico to go work back in the oil industry. I decided to quit my job. No, not to live off of unemployment. I've never filed for unemployment. I didn't file for it in the 4 months I've been laid off. But God had something reserved for me. I've been through this experience. I've learned what the judicial system looks like, especially as it pertains to family law. And I will debate anybody, any day, on this matter. Any day. Don't care who you are, where you come from, what your background is. You could have went to Harvard, Yale. I don't care. I will debate you. Because if you're not willing to live through the circumstances that you've put men like me through, you're a coward. They have made parents like myself experience the greatest hardships that never, ever had to transpire. And they've done so under the guise of best interests of our children. Nobody can even define that. It differs from every single judge. And why? Because it gives them carte blanche to make whatever decision they want over your life and your children's life. And they don't need to explain themselves. They don't even have to explain themselves. And it's absurd. We should have 100% transparency through all levels of government. There should be cameras in every single courtroom. You should never have to hire a court reporter to transcribe your case. This is 2020, people. I'm talking to 1,200 people on a live feed. I should be able to live feed my court case. Right off my Facebook. If they weren't hiding anything, there should be no problem with it. But they're hiding their corruption and their criminal behavior and the violations of citizens' rights under color of law every damn day. And I've seen it. Personally, I've experienced it. I'm still experiencing it. You want to look up my case? Go ahead. It's case 14D1411 out of Lake County, Illinois. It's Winderweedle versus Winderweedle. That's my old name. And there's probably going to be about a zillion laughing emojis. And if I need to explain to you after you just hearing what my last name was, why I changed my name, well, you're not too bright anyway. How are you paying child support with no job? Mary Adams. Well, okay, that's a fair question. Number one, I'm a military retiree, and child support's taken directly out of my military retiree check. Number two, why should I have to pay child support? If we had a rebuttable presumption of 50-50 equal shared parenting in this country, I told you a bunch of laughing emojis. If we had a rebuttable presumption of 50-50 equal shared parenting, there's no need for child support. If a dad like me wants to raise their kids half the time, there's no need for child support. This ain't rocket science. Would you agree that child care is expensive? Yes or no? This is simple. Child care is extremely expensive. And if the other parent says, I'll do the child care while mom works, why in the hell would you put them in child care? Shelly Hodge, I'm not by myself. I don't have to talk about my relationship-wise. I've got a beautiful, beautiful woman that I'm with, that I've been with for 6 years. Yep. And And if you make the argument that I only want 50-50, that I only want equal custody so I don't have to pay child support, then the exact same argument can be made on why you don't want 50-50 is so you can collect child support. See, it goes both ways. And men are fed up. Fathers are fed up. I'm here to tell you. Dads like me, we are sick and tired of bitching and complaining about the most precious resource in our nation is our children. They're our backbone. They're our future. And when they grow up in a fatherless home, they're far more likely to have emotional, mental, and behavioral disorders. If they're far more likely to experience emotional, mental, and behavioral disorders, then common sense leads you to the conclusion they're also far more likely to be on pharmaceuticals, because that's what we do in this country. We drug our kids. Instead of having good dads around to mentor and raise our kids, we drug them. We hop them up on different pharmaceuticals. When instead, if you let the fathers play a meaningful role in raising these kids and quit nitpicking how men raise children, we're different. We are different. Whether you believe in God or nature, men are different. We were made differently by design, whatever you believe. But children need their fathers there to raise. And my mama just tried calling. Now, I know full well she knows I'm on this live feed. My mama's coming to Houston. And she's like, I don't know, 8 or 9 hours away. How many of you are fed up with the court system? Raise your hand. You're fed up with fighting to be a parent to your kids, mom or dad. You're just sick and tired of the bullshit. You're sick and tired of the attorneys. You're sick and tired of the continuances. You're sick and tired of the false allegations. You're sick and tired of the redonkulous child support. You're sick and tired of them canceling your freaking driver's license or your professional license. It's bullshit. The whole thing is counterproductive. It should be abolished. Abolished family courts in their entirety. The only people that stand to lose here are family law attorneys who charge $300, $400, $500 an hour. It's a perverse system that is designed to pit parent against parent using a child as the pawn in their sick, twisted game. In every state across this country, every single state. It's in England, it's in Australia, it's in Canada, and I might just go, Kash Damn Jackson might go freaking international. Because it's in all of these other countries too, and I've got people from Ireland reaching out to me, all of the other countries I've listed, New Zealand, messaging my inbox, Kash, man, hey man, I'm a father in New Zealand, I've been fighting to be a dad to my kids, I don't know what else to do, can you offer any advice? Man, if you've watched anything of my case, if you know anything of my story, I've had no luck. Why? Because I've been speaking out and I won't shut up. They want to shut me up. Look at my video on my page. When you get off of here, you guys go and share that video. It's pushing on 400,000 views, where the kid's attorney, the guardian ad litem, Sally Lichter is her name. She's in Lake County, Illinois. Feel free to give her a call after you watch that video and let her know. She's charged over $10,000, and the only progress that's been made in my case in the last 6 months, now again, she's the children's attorney, not my attorney. The only progress that has been made is 3 phone calls now. At that time it was 2 phone calls, but now 3 phone calls with my son. Almost $12,000 for 3 phone calls. And I've got over 1,000 people on this feed because the country is fed up. It's bullshit and we know it. This is not Republican. This is not Democrat. This is nonpartisan. These are our children we're talking about. I am kind of the public advocacy person for the Fathers' Rights Movement, a 501c3 organization. They brought me on board because I got a big mouth. I got a backbone. I'm not scared to say what needs to be said to whoever needs it said to. And we have volunteers that are from all races, all demographics. I've got Oreo all over my fingers. That's from my messy ice cream cone. But we've got volunteers from all over. And in fact, I think about 40% of our volunteers are women. Women! Y'all understand that? Like 40% of our volunteers are women. The Fathers' Rights Movement, about 40% are women. because they are the wives and the fiancés and the girlfriends and the grandmothers or mothers to these fathers that have been experiencing this in this nation for decades, 30, 40, 50 years now. I don't know how long, but decades. And I go all across this country, back and forth, north, south, east, west. I go out on the oil platforms, and everywhere I go, it's the same old stories. And fathers are sick and tired. We're coming up on Father's Day. Another Father's Day, no time with my kids. Another Father's Day approaching, fast approaching, and it was just chewing at me. You know what I mean? It was eating at me. My depression was getting bad again. How many of you struggle with depression not seeing your kids? How many of you are struggling with severe depression and anxiety because all you want to do is see your kids? And you walk into these courts and you're terrified because these arrogant judges talk down to you and they beat you down and they talk to you like you're less than human. When if they just said, hey, Dad, you know, I'm Judge Jackson. If I was the judge, if I'm Judge Jackson and a mom and dad come into my court, I'm going to go, okay, you two. You couldn't make the relationship work. I understand that. I've had 2 marriages that didn't work out for me. Maybe I didn't make the best of choices. But in your case, let's talk about you. You got a little boy here. He's 6 years old. Dad, are you willing to do equal work? Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor. I'm willing to do that. All right, so you're going to do half the work. And Mom, what about you? You going to do half the work? I love guys like Robert Chapman. Robert Chapman, if you were standing in front of me, I would eviscerate you face to face in front of 1,000 people. I would eviscerate you. Because men like me would ensure that both mother and father got equal custody, that they both did equal the work, that Mom paid for her household, Dad paid for his household, and we would eliminate the need for these unscrupulous dirtbag family law attorneys that are raping good citizens. Think about how many lost days at work to go to court. When, surprise, surprise, COVID hits, and guess what they can miraculously do now? Oh, all of a sudden we can all do Zoom hearings. Surprise, surprise. Why couldn't they do that before? They could have. We got to take advantage of this COVID crisis. Who was that famously said or infamously said, never let a good crisis go to waste? Let's not let it go to waste. They've shown their colors. We should have all been able to go to these hearings via Zoom from our lunchroom or our break room at work and never have lost work to go to courts to fight to be in our kids' lives. We could have been doing it via Zoom the whole time. Or for a long time now. But no, they want you to come to court. How many lost days, how much has our economy suffered when nearly 40,000 men a year commit suicide, middle-aged white men? You know why they come after middle-aged white men? Because they make up more of the middle class. You know what they do to black men? Let me tell you. Because a larger percentage of black men live in impoverished communities like Southside Chicago, East St. Louis, Atlanta, New Orleans. There's a larger demographic there. And what they do is no right to an attorney, no right to a trial by jury. They go in front of a judge. And I sat in jail with a guy on this whenever they threw me in jail from a second time for contempt. That's another story. I got lots of them. Young father in there, let me tell you what they do. Young father, he's still with the mother. They got 4 children together. The mother used Medicaid. She used Medicaid for a hernia surgery during her 3rd pregnancy, okay? Now again, the mom and dad are together. The state files a child support action against the father to recoup expenses that the mother used, the Medicaid that she used. They file a child support action against this young black father. He's 24 years old, 3 children with a 4th on the way. The mother of his children, they still live together. She's at home, pregnant. And what's their answer? Put him in jail. And when I looked at this father in his eyes, he was like, man, you know, I told him my name's Kash. He says, Kash, he goes, bro, he's like, he said, I don't understand. He said, I showed the judge, I tried showing the judge all of these job applications I put in. He didn't care. He just threw me in here. Yep, that's what they do. Because because we allow them to. We allow these judges to have absolute immunity and treat us less than human. Well, I'm here to tell you, not only am I human, but I'm a man, and I'm a father, and I'm American, and I'm a veteran. And we deserve to be treated better, all of us. Black, white, gay, straight, Christian, Muslim, it doesn't matter. We deserve to be treated better. And these judges sit up on these benches acting like they're gods, ruling over our lives, smiling and smirking as they destroy our livelihood, and support these attorneys that charge us thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and the work that they do could be done by a kid in a senior year of high school. If they were taught to do it, taught the forms and how to file them, a kid in high school could do it. But law is lucrative in every area of our country. Think about it, folks. Attorneys have infiltrated every area of our nation. You want to talk about the media and who controls the media? Look at how many attorney ads, from personal injury attorneys, from family law attorneys, criminal defense attorneys, for DWIs, on and on. How many ads are on television and social media? Drive outside this Houston airport into Houston and tell me how many billboards are up. And there's going to be idiots on here. Plenty of them. They're so conditioned into believing that men should just pay child support and that's all that we're good for. That's bullshit. I'm here to tell you it's bullshit. They want to say, Cash, you need to go get a job and pay more child support. Why is nobody saying, Cash, when's the last time you threw a football with your son? Why is nobody saying, Cash, when's the last time you took your daughter to the park? Why does nobody ever want to ask me, when's the last time I got to hug my kids? Nobody wants to ask you that. They would just want to go, pay your child support, you deadbeat. It's easy for them. It's their easy out to go and attack you and try and portray that you don't pay to support your kids. And it's bullshit, and they know it. It's their easy attack. Sit down and debate me. I'll destroy any person on this matter. I don't care who you are. And the majority of children that are harmed, guess who they're harmed by? They're harmed by the other men that come into the mother's life, while the father is kept at arm's length. Why? Because fathers are protectors. They would protect their offspring with our lives. And I'm not saying moms wouldn't. Okay? But men are built differently physically for a reason. Okay? We were made, again, whether you believe in nature or God, we were designed to be protectors. That's what we were made for, to protect our offspring. How do we protect our offspring if we never get to see them? How do we protect them? They know this. Everybody wants to rag about the black community and why the percentage of kids growing up in fatherless homes is so high. Let me tell you, and plenty of conservatives are going to get mad at me when I say this. The war on drugs is a failed policy that disproportionately affected the black community, stripping fathers out of the homes for the last 40 years. And what we see today is the end result of that. And it's going to get worse if we don't fix this course. Yes, the welfare state incentivizes single-parent homes. It does do that. Because the state has stepped in to make themselves providers and protectors. And they don't do either one very well, do they? No, they don't. So bringing it full circle, Donald Trump, President Trump, I don't know if you're going to see this, you probably won't, but you're going to see me in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'll be easy to spot. I'm probably going to be in my dress blue uniform with full medals. I'll be clean shaven. I'm the American veteran fighting for parents across this country. I'll do it in my uniform. I don't care who likes it. I swore to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. The greatest domestic threats to our rights right now are in this country, and one of the primary offenders are judges who enjoy absolute immunity to strip us of our children without justification. And yes, they do it every single day. If you're one of those ignorant people that believes a judge wouldn't do that, I'm here to tell you they do. They do. I've been living it for 6 years. Then when you get a chance, I want you to go and tell Judge Salvey what a low-life scumbag he is. Because none of them deserve any civility from me. Because they are royal pieces of shit. This guy is a royal piece of shit. His whole family is a attorney mafia in Illinois. The whole family. They're a gigantic mafia that makes hundreds of thousands of dollars every year preying upon innocent people. Unsuspecting citizens that have no idea. They think that the justice system, Dad's going to walk in there and he's going to go, well, I've always provided, I've always been there. And he's going to walk in there and he's going to get punched right in his mouth the same way that I did 6 years ago when Judge Salvey talked to me like I was a piece of shit, looked down his nose at me, sneered and smiled and laughed when he stripped me of my children. And I stood up to him. And because men like me stand up to him, they want to try and kick us while we're down. They want to try and use and hide behind their absolute immunity. Well, let me tell you something, Judge Salvey. You cannot hide behind what's coming. It is a force of the people that are sick and tired of people like you and your bullshit and stripping us of our children for no good damn reason. We're not going to take your shit no more. We're not taking it. And somebody is going to listen. Somebody's going to change this shit. Because you don't want to know where it's going to go if you don't. It's going to get bad. It will get worse if we don't fix this. Because parents are fed up with it. I'm fed up with it. And if I need to crawl my ass up on top of a courthouse in my uniform, that's what I'm going to do. And again, if the Navy wants to punish me for that or the military wants to bring me back on active duty, go ahead and do it. Because I'm still going to do what's right. I served this country honorably for 20 years. And all I wanted to do was be a dad. That was it. Be a father. I want to be a father to my kids. That's it. That's all I wanted. Literally, that was it. Retire from the military, live on a small farm, raise my family. That was it. Nope. Instead, they wanted to use my children to try and hurt me. And they did. They inflicted a lot of pain on me. But I'm not taking that. Jessica Connor, you want to be filled in? My name's Kash Jackson. I'm a retired Navy veteran. I'm in Houston at the airport. Was flying from Little Rock to Houston. Had a connecting flight to go to Lafayette, Louisiana, where I'd be going out on an oil rig tomorrow. A construction boat tomorrow to work for the oil industry. I was a ROV pilot, technician, a remotely operated vehicle pilot. Cool ass job. Got to do some really cool work. But it's not what I was made for. I was made to fight for parents and children across this nation because I have personally not only experienced, but witnessed and supported and fought for parents all across this country that are being destroyed in family courts. They've been doing it for decades. I stood up to them. Because I stood up to them, I've suffered reprisals. I've not seen my children in over 2 years. Let me clarify, for my daughter, it's been over 2 years. It's been 26 or 27 months now. For my son, it'll be 24 months this November. I ran for governor in Illinois to expose the court systems. I ran as a libertarian. I'm very middle of the road, common sense. Okay, I've got some common sense about me. I'm a very middle of the road kind of guy. A little more right-leaning, if you will. If this guy would ever park this bus over here, get quiet. And en route, I'm reading a TED Talk book that my buddy Tom from Illinois sent me. And in my heart and in my soul, I knew I'm not made to be offshore. I'm made to be my flight. I just got an alert here. If you guys heard the buzz, my flight to Lafayette is now boarding here in Houston. Well, Lisa, my boss, I'm sorry to tell you, I'm not going to be making it. She's going to be mad at me. But my calling is to fight for my children. My calling is to fight to reform this across this country, and I can only trust in God that He'll provide, that it'll work out. And again, I'm not a welfare guy, okay? I live on my military benefits the best that I can. I don't have a lot of money left over at the end of the month. But I'm not on SNAP benefits. I'm not on, I don't collect unemployment. I haven't collected unemployment for the 4 months I've been laid off and out of work. I almost filed for unemployment, but I'm like, nope, somebody else needs that money worse than I do. I'm not doing it. I do get my military benefits that I earned after 20 years of service, and I'm not ashamed of any of those. I like this guy, Kevin. You sound like one scary guy. You sound abusive, threatening, controlling. Try being nice, kind, forgiving, and show a little respect. I don't know if he's talking to me. I hope he's not. Because, yeah, I can be a scary guy. When you screw with my kids, I can be a scary guy. And cowards who take people's children unlawfully should be scared of men like me. You should be. Because we're not going to take your shit. Well, it wasn't a TED Talk. I was reading a book about TED Talks. And I've spoken all across this country. You guys can go to my page here, Google Kash Jackson with a K, find out whatever you want to know. There's a lot of articles out there that tried to smear me as a deadbeat and as an abuser. And it's all part of the family court system. It's all part of destroying your character, defaming you, bankrupting you so that you can't fight back. They literally will break you in every way so that you can't fight back. And despite all of that, I continue to fight back. I continue to speak out. Because I know the truth. I know what's right. I'm not a perfect man. I've made a lot of mistakes. I'll acknowledge. Look at the video I posted recently of me with my children on my page. You can jump off this feed now and watch it, or you can do it later and see how my kids and I interact. My kids loved me. But now after 2 years of alienation, I've got such an uphill battle whenever I finally do get to see my kids again. And the Illinois Judge Janelle Christensen in my case right now is violating Illinois law by not voiding out 2 previous orders entered by Judge Salvi in March of 2018 and November of 2018, where he illegally severed contact with my children. He violated all due process. In March of 2018, you can look this up for yourself, he had no jurisdiction to make his ruling in my case. I had removed my case into federal court, and it had not been remanded back yet to his court. He ordered the case reopened and severed contact with my daughter. That was one of his reprisals because I was running for governor and speaking out against him and his court system. Then in November 2018, when the election for governor was over, I obtained about 110,000 votes on $25,000. But I elevated the message and the conversation about family law and how destructive it was, and that was my goal. I never really intended to be the governor of Illinois. It'd been a crazy, miraculous thing if it happened, but I knew what my odds looked like. In November of 2018, Judge Salvi did the same thing with no motion, no notice of motion. He violated my due process rights, and he severed contact with my son. Judge Janelle Christensen in the Lake County Court in Illinois in the 19th Judicial Circuit has a legal obligation to void out those 2 previous orders by Judge Salvi and reinstate my parenting time now with my children. But they won't do that. Go and look at the video of me talking to the guardian ad litem in the case, Sally Lichter. She is the court-appointed attorney to represent the children. She is the eyes and the ears of the court. She also has a legal obligation to report the illegal orders entered by Judge Salvi, but she will not do that. John Nick, why did I move so far away from my kids? That's a good question. A very difficult decision that unfortunately many fathers like myself and mothers are driven to. I'd been fighting for years already in that court system. And mentally and emotionally, I was spent. And so I had to get myself back together. I had to get stronger. And people that have been through this know what I'm talking about. This system destroys you. It takes everything from you. It leaves you with nothing. And you're spent. And so I moved to Arkansas hoping that the conflict between me and their mother in the courts would reduce, that it would give time between us with the separation for her to hopefully just kind of move on with her life. And I was repeatedly sending message after message, hey, I want to see the kids, I want to talk to the kids, and nothing. You can't just file to transfer the case to where you're at, okay? You got to know a little something about jurisdiction. Lake County, Illinois retains jurisdiction, albeit they shouldn't because they're extremely corrupt. I will never get a fair hearing in Lake County, Illinois, probably in the state, probably anywhere because of how outspoken I am. And wherever it gets transferred to, you can bet your ass that the judges in Illinois would call the judges in whatever other state it went to, and I will never receive a fair hearing. Never. Because I'm so outspoken against the Family Bar Association and the judicial system that is using children for profits. Nothing is as easy as what the general public thinks it is. Filing for a modification on child support isn't that easy. Okay, it took me over a year just to get back in front of the judge because I was doing it pro se, meaning representing myself. You want to call me a deadbeat? Let me ask you this. Deadbeats don't spend hundreds of hours researching family law, learning to represent themselves to keep fighting for their kids. Deadbeats don't fight to be in their kids' lives. Y'all need to understand this. This carte blanche of just calling people who are behind on child support deadbeats, that shit needs to end. It needs to end. And I shouldn't have to pay 1 penny in child support if I'm willing to do half the work and raise my kids. Mom should provide for her home, I provide for my home, and that's it. And we both equally split the cost of raising the kids. We split education costs, we split healthcare costs. That's how it should work. It shouldn't be a transfer of one person's resources to another parent's resources. It shouldn't work that way. It should be, Mom, okay, you were a stay-at-home mom. If you want to get an associate's degree or something, we'll do a minimum of 2 years of child support. After that, you are flying on your own. You got to be solo, providing for your home. It is not the dad's responsibility to pay your rent, your car payment, your utilities. I hear all the time, well, all this isn't free. It's not free. Of course it's not free. It's not free for dad's home either, genius. What do you guys not get about that? That fathers have to provide a home suitable in size and safety for the children that he was living in before the relationship ended. Dad needs to be able to do that. And if you're taking 30-40% of his income, he can't do that. You've set him up for failure. How does dad get to go and make these memories with his kids when the majority of his money, or a large percentage of his money, is going to the mom's house? He can't. And that builds resentment towards them. We don't want more resentment, okay? We want the anger and the hurt and the frustration and the pain to subside, but that'll never happen when you're keeping kids away from dads. It'll never happen when you're transferring most of dad's money over to moms. And look, moms out there that are doing this on your own and dad doesn't want to be involved, I'm not talking about you, okay? This is not about those single moms or even single dads who are out there and the other parent doesn't want to be involved. Because good moms want the dad to be involved. They want the dad to do equal work. You're right, Jennifer. I mean, you shouldn't have to pay. If I want to do equal work and I want equal custody of my children, I should not be required to pay child support at all, especially when mom makes almost $100,000 a year. Okay? And then if mom decides she wants to alienate me from my children, she damn sure shouldn't get anything. As a matter of fact, anybody who does that should go to jail for child abuse and domestic violence by proxy, because you're using kids to hurt the other parent. I have always provided for my kids. I know thousands and thousands of people from my time in being in the military for 20 years, running for governor of Illinois. Aaron Finch, I would love to buy my kids ice cream. So if you would please call Judge Janelle Christensen in the Lake County Court, let her know that Cash Jackson wants to take his kids to have ice cream, and I'll damn sure do it. So thank you. You're right. I do want to buy my kids ice cream. I want to take them to the park. I want to play football with them. I want to take them fishing. I want to go camping with them. I want to teach my children to hunt and garden and provide for themselves. I want them to see my little farm that was my dream as a child and after I retired from the military. My dream was to have a little farm and let my kids experience a wholesome life of just learning to provide for themselves. Priscilla says Judge made the right decision. And I know she's not talking to me, because if we sat down and had a conversation, I would dismantle her. And maybe you weren't talking to me, but if you were, I would dismantle you in front of 800 and something people. How would you like to do that? I'll dismantle you. Mandy, you can't get legal advice from the military. They will not help you in civil cases. How many dads out there paying support on kids they never even get to see? Madison, I got to listen to the trolls, and I have to address them, because these are the people making the arguments on why we can't see our kids. These are the people that are justifying keeping good fathers like myself out of our children's lives. These are the people that will call legislators and go and see legislators and demand that fathers only get to see their kids less than 20% of the year. And that's bullshit, because if you're not willing to only see your kids every other weekend, don't you dare say that father should only see those kids every other weekend and a few hours in the middle of the week so that you can go on date nights or go on girls' nights or whatever it is that you want to do. Go hustle and play victimhood to some other freaking man, some unsuspecting man that doesn't know that really you're a gold digger and you're using children to hurt that father. That really you've got some severe narcissistic sociopathic disorder that's been undiagnosed, and you're so sick and twisted that you would use children to harm the other person simply because your relationship didn't work. Rita, it's not disrespect, but you're absolutely incorrect there. I know how demanding parenting is. I had my kids 3 days out of the week. So I had them 16 days out of the month, roughly. But I only got overnights on every other weekend. And so because I only had overnights on every other weekend, I couldn't get a child support modification, because in the state of Illinois, you had to have like 146 overnights. How much money do you spend on kids on overnights? Why would any idiotic legislator go make the determination on modifying child support on how many overnights you have? You don't spend money on children while they're sleeping. Your mortgage doesn't change, your rent doesn't change, correct? No, it doesn't. So whether you or the father have if I've only got the kids 4 days out of the month, does my rent or my mortgage change based upon that? No, it doesn't. Use some common sense. I know how hard it is to raise kids. Are you kidding me? I need to know how hard it is to raise kids. I was a drill instructor. I raised 88 kids at a time for 2 months solid, and I had to deal with all of their problems and all of their bullshit from piss poor parenting from other moms and dads. Until you've raised 88 kids, 88 teenagers. You ever dealt with 88 teenagers, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week for 2 months? I have. Parental alienation is real. Keeping children from another parent is real. And that is domestic violence. You are harming unnecessarily not only those children, but that other parent, because you're sick and twisted and you can't get over whatever transpired. If they cheated on you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not justifying their behavior, but you don't use kids to punish them. You go on your merry way and you do your best to be civil and respectful of one another, and you raise those kids. That's what you do. You don't use children to punish them. And so I got to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma I've got a president that I got to try and see. Because not only does the Department of Justice need to get involved, okay, the FBI should be involved. Let me ask you this. How much sense does it make? Look, and this is just on the real. I had a top secret clearance in the Navy. My background has been better investigated than 99% of America. What sense would it make to torture somebody who's had a top secret clearance? Can you kind of reason in your mind why that might be problematic to use children to harm a person that served their country for 20 years and I had a top secret clearance for about 8 of those? Could you logically go down the path of how that might not be a good idea to do? You know, whenever I'm talking to guys that work for Lockheed Martin, I'm talking to guys that work in special forces in the military. Do you think it's real logical or makes good sense to use their children against them to try and silence them? Does that make any sense? So the Department of Justice needs to get involved in Lake County and investigate the due process violations that are ongoing there. Furthermore, in California, I just saw a case where a mother lost custody of her child to DCFS because she worked with patients who had COVID. Okay? Now think about that for a second. This mother, I think she was a nurse or a doctor, and I think I saw one in Florida too, worked for the healthcare industry. And they came in and took her children, in both cases, took the children because they worked with people who have COVID. Think about that. Jennifer, JAG can't help you. These are civil courts. These are civil matters. They will not intervene in those. It is terribly wrong what's happening in this country. So, I quit my job. I just missed my flight because God has a higher purpose for me. And I have to trust in that. I have to follow that. I've got to trust in Him, and that's not been easy for me over the last several years. It's not. I've had a lot of animosity towards my Lord and Savior. I'm not a great guy, you know what I mean? Just in the context that I'm not this staunch Christian, you know. I live with a woman that I've been with for the last 6 years. I'm, you know, terrified of marriage because of what's happened going through the family law court system. And I'm imperfect, you know, and I take a lot of issue with things that have transpired in my life. But you know what? I just, it is what it is. And I have to trust that this is the road that God wants me to go down. It feels right. That He wants me to go to Tulsa. And Donald Trump, okay, if I got to follow you all across this country from sea to shining sea in my uniform until we'll sit down and talk about this, I mean, that's what I'm going to do. And if it's Joe Biden that's the next president or whomever else, I'm going to do it with you until it gets changed. That's all I can do. Debbie, I'm terribly sorry to hear that you lost your husband. I'm terribly sorry to hear that. And my heart definitely goes out to you. I've lost so many friends now to suicide that it's difficult for me to talk about. I've lost more than 10 friends now. And a lot of them are directly linked to family law courts because they were so tired of fighting to be in their kids' lives. And well, Christine, I'm stranded in Houston because it's kind of a longer story. You might have to go back and watch some of the video, but I quit my job en route to the Gulf of Mexico. My boss is going to be pissed at me, or former boss now. Sorry, Lisa. And I did so because, you know, God has led me to go and fight for my kids. I've been fighting for 6 years, but not just for my kids, for parents and kids all across this country that are being unjustly and oftentimes illegally denied a relationship. And I aim to see this changed in every single state. Every single state. Yeah, Sam, so what I'm talking about is that I'm an offshore worker, or one offshore worker, and I quit my job en route back to the Gulf of Mexico after being laid off for 4 months. It's getting the feed's slow and really bad. I don't know if it's because of my service or what. Well, it's getting dark. Ken Scott, he's been at this for 15 years. There is no reason men like Ken should be in the family law courts for 15 years. The entirety of their children's lives, parents are fighting to be in their kids' lives. And it's stupid. And I can't take it anymore. I watched my friend Tom, great buddy of mine, and he's got that real thick northeastern accent. You know, he says, "Fight hard, baby, fight hard." And I try and his daughter and I both have the same name, Kaylee, and you know, and Tom calls me Patrick Henry, and very humbling, by the way. But there's so many people that I love that I've gotten connected to in this movement fighting for parental rights, and my heart just breaks for them every day that, man, I got to do more. I got to do more for my kids. Mama Jackson, I see you're on your way. See that? Mama's coming to get me. Now, please don't ask me for advice. I know, you know, several of you are going to see this feed, and you're gonna hit me up. And you're gonna go, man, let me ask this guy some advice. Look, I've not prevailed in my own case, and here's what I can tell you, and this is the God honest truth, is that, Elaine, if you can find some legitimate reasons why I'm not allowed to see my kids, legal reasons, get back to me. Until then, just sit back and watch the show. But all across this country, I deal with parents that are just fighting to see their kids. Nisha, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that where you know, oftentimes it's the abuser, it's the one who is violent that does get the kids. And a lot of times that violence, okay, I hate to say this, and some of you ladies are going to take this the wrong way, but women are not physically as strong as men. Okay, that's a known fact. And women will use the strengths that they were provided. And the strength of a woman is mental and emotional manipulation. And many of them are very skilled at it. Many of them are extremely skilled at it. And us as young people, young men and women, we don't learn to identify these traits. We don't learn to identify the manipulation that's used, and we'll excuse it away. I know you've heard it said, you know, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Where do you think that developed from? And it's true. Why? Because men will act out their frustration and anger in a physical manner. Correct. And I didn't understand it in my marriage. I didn't get it. I didn't know. It's not like there's classes in high school that teach you to look for this. I mean, there's no classes in the military that teach you to look for this. And so, for a lot of unsuspecting men, you know, they don't know what they're looking at. See you later, Jennifer. I'll call you when I'm done, babe. And that's, you know, but there's plenty of men who do that too. There's plenty of men who use that same type of manipulation and gaslighting. Johnny Kendrick, you have to go back and watch the feed, bud. I don't want to go back through it all again. Yeah, Hatcher, you're correct. They do. And so this isn't, we've been led to believe, like the rest of society, that it's men versus women, and it's not. That is a lie. Same as it's a lie that it's white versus blacks, or gay versus straight, or Christian versus Muslim. These are all false dichotomies that are created and try and understand where you come from. Okay, these are all false dichotomies that are being used to drive wedges in our society, and we have to recognize that. And I've been susceptible. I'm guilty. Right? I'm guilty of anybody of having attacked somebody, and I shouldn't have. But friends like Louise, she's over in Australia. She's been a friend of mine for a while now, and she'll tell you, she and I disagree on a number of things. She's far more liberal than what I am, and we disagree on quite a few things. But she knows the sincerity of my heart, and that what I'm doing, that I really, that I love people, that I care about people wherever they're at, whatever their plights. Even if I don't agree with their positions, I can understand from a humanity perspective the pain that they're feeling. I understand it. I came from a very poor upbringing in Louisiana. I'm like, poor trailer park trash was my upbringing. Justin, I'm not here to stand up against Trump. I'm here to stand for the American people. Okay? And we're not going to always agree, but we have to understand that it's okay to disagree sometimes. But in this circumstance, what I really fight for, and it's the most nonpartisan thing you could ever imagine. All other politics aside, guns, abortion, religion, whatever, all of that aside, we should all be able to agree that our children should be off limits to government. That our children, that their care and upbringing and what's best for them is left to parents. The Supreme Court, and I've got a lot of disagreements with the damn Supreme Court on many things, okay? These judges are not infallible. Were they infallible when they ruled on Plessy versus Ferguson or the Dred Scott decision? No, they weren't. These are a couple of cases that I cite commonly because it shows how profoundly human these people are and why they don't deserve absolute immunity. Y'all see what I'm saying? We should be able to look at the history and the judicial rulings that were passed down by men, and men who are flawed, because all men are inherently flawed, and recognize that no person should have absolute immunity in this nation. Period. None. And when they destroy human beings and they violate civil rights and they violate due process rights, and it's clear, it's very clear, like in my own case, it's clear. I've seen a couple people say, no, that's bullshit. A judge wouldn't do that for no reason. It's bullshit. All you have to do is look up what are the Illinois requirements to infringe upon parenting time in the state of Illinois, and look at when they severed contact with my kids. Go and look at the legal paperwork. There's no motions. There's no notice of motion. The opposing party wasn't even asking for me to be severed from my contact, to be severed from my children. The judge did it on his own motion in a status hearing. And that's why there should be cameras always recording these people. They should always be getting recorded in these courts. Always. Judges are evil. There is no due process. I agree with you. Madison, she says, Madison, she reached out to me not too long ago. 11 years later, as a mother. 11 years later, she's still fighting to be a mom to her kids. 11 years later, think about that. That's over half her kids' lives. We should all be able to agree that we want transparency in every one of our courtrooms. and that we want these judges held accountable and these attorneys held accountable. This is wrong what's happening to my children and my life and all across this nation. My buddy Jeff Larson, he's on here. Look at his case. Me and him have the same judge. His daughter was molested while in the mother's custody. His daughter was molested, but she manipulated the court system. She weaponized the court system against my buddy Jeffrey, and so that he was kept from his child, from his daughter, and because of that, she was left in the care of another person where they had the opportunity to molest his daughter. And it's in the court filings, and the judge, Janelle Christensen, won't even acknowledge it. Like it didn't even exist, like it never even happened. Janelle Christensen is another criminal in the Lake County courts. She's ordered me to appear in person at the end of in a few days. I was going to be off on the rig, so I wasn't going to be able to do it anyway. But she changed my hearing from Zoom to in person, so I couldn't record it. Why would Judge Janelle Christensen not want me to record her court on a Zoom hearing? That's why they wouldn't let me do it via Zoom, because if I walk into the courtroom, they'll seize my phone, and they'll seize my attorney's phone. They'll violate my First Amendment right to not only be my own news media, because the media won't report on this. I am my own media. I do my own reporting. I should be able to broadcast even if it is my own case. The public has an interest to know what's transpiring in my case because it affects them. I've only got like 15% battery. I'm going to go in here and charge my phone, get some water, call my mother, call my significant other. I know they want me to call them and talk to them. And I'm going to Tulsa. So if you want to go to Tulsa, meet me over there. The day of the rally, I'll probably be the only son of a bitch in uniform, in a military uniform. I'm a veteran. I am not active duty. So anybody who thinks that, let them know, tell them, hey, that guy's a veteran. And I know plenty of people won't be happy about that. I'm not going there, representing the Navy, okay? I'm going there to represent veterans and service members that are afflicted by these courts the same way that I am. I'm going there to represent the veteran community that has been harmed by these courts. I'm going there to fight to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, the way that I swore to for 20 years. I'm going to fulfill my oath. That's what I'm going for. And Donald Trump is my commander-in-chief. And I will show him the respect due and fitting for that office, to the commander-in-chief. And he's the one that I need to talk to fix this problem. Nobody else. Donald Trump's the one that I need to talk to. Jason, I'm not leaving my Navy stuff at home, because then I'm just another face in the crowd. And I can't just be another face in the crowd. Why? Because 22 veterans a day are killing themselves. And many of these veterans are going through these family courts just like the Army Airborne Ranger that I talked to a few days ago. He's in Colorado. His case is in Texas. And he was talking about killing himself. Okay? I don't want another veteran to kill himself or herself because they're being denied access to their children. So I have to risk my 20-year naval career. I have to risk the benefits that I earned through 20 years of military service. I have to do that because I don't want another parent thinking about killing themselves because these courts have destroyed them. I don't want another child going to bed at night crying themselves to sleep thinking that their dad doesn't love them. So I can't just be another face in the crowd. I'm sorry, and I respect your position, but I have to respectfully decline. You're right, Matt. I am no more important than you. Never said that I was. Never said that I am. I am no more important than any other person. You're right. I'm just another guy. And John Nick, he's a troll. He can say delusions of grandeur. Sure, say what you want. But you know what? I had 1,200 people on this feed earlier, John. How many people have you ever had on a live feed? And what does that say to me? Okay, it's not feeding my ego, it's telling me this is an important issue to America. And that it's time that it was changed. Time that this was changed, and somebody has to get out there and do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, but I have to. I got to do it for my kids. It's been more than 2 years since I spent a day with my daughter. I haven't talked to my daughter in over 2 years. So please don't tell me not to wear my uniform. Please don't tell me that I'm not hurting and that I shouldn't do everything possible to fight for my kids and parents across this country. I have to do whatever I can do. And the rules and the laws of man be damned, I don't care. I don't care about those rules. When it involves the lives of American citizens and their rights, I don't care whether or not you agree. Because if you're not willing to go out there and fight this fight alongside me, if you're not going to get in front of Donald Trump and say, Mr. President, this is a problem and we need to fix it right now. If you're not willing to do that, then you have no room to criticize me. And I'm going to wave my flag. Because we are in distress. We're hurting. We miss our kids. Christy, there's another mom there, lost 3 children to family court. See what I'm saying? This isn't moms versus dads. This is American citizens versus a system that is built for them to profit and destroy American lives. Our children and us, we are owed reparations for what they've done to us. All of the money and everything that I made in my naval career should have been saved for my kids. It should have been saved so that I could care for my kids and enjoy my retirement and making memories with my children. It shouldn't have went to attorneys that charge thousands and thousands of dollars to do nothing. Jeremiah just met his daughter for the first time. She's 7. You see what I'm talking about? Countless cases. They'll just keep coming. Miss Jones, do I think Trump will really care? Yeah, I do. I think that if I have the opportunity to sit down and talk to him, I think that he will care. Because I've seen where he's cared before. And tear the man down all that you want. He's the commander-in-chief. If it was President Barack Obama or President Joe Biden or President Hillary Clinton, I would do the exact same thing. It didn't matter which one it is. Okay? I'm working within the confines and the structure of what my society looks like right now. That's what I have to deal with. Look at all these people filing suits, filing countersuits. It's insane. There is no place that I won't go. There's no man that I won't talk to. There's no person I will not debate this with. I will sit down. This is the most nonpartisan issue, people. It's not about Trump. Get this through your heads. This is nonpartisan. Okay? But if we don't take it to them, it's never going to get solved. Yeah, I would never let Joe Biden around my kids either. I've seen the little scratch and sniff games he plays, and it's disgusting. But if he was the commander-in-chief, that's who I'd have to work with. So, you know what? For those of you who are going to go another Father's Day not seeing your kids, I want to tell you, okay, persevere, be strong. And I know that's hard. I know it's hard right now. My phone's going to die here in a minute. I know how hard it is, and I know how bad some of you want to give up. I've been there. But don't give up. Okay? Get louder. But do it with respect. Okay? Put on a suit and tie if you need to. Dress nice. Okay? Clean yourselves up. And go and fight for your kids. Get into your city councils. Get into your county boards. Run for office. Bring this issue to the forefront in America. And I've said this before. I saw a mom just comment that she's raising her kids by herself, that the father doesn't want to help. I'm not going to read into that any more than what you just said. Okay, but I'm out here fighting for good parents that want to be substantially involved in raising their kids and being denied that opportunity. That's who I'm fighting for. I'm not out there fighting for somebody who doesn't want to be in their kids' lives. They've got some other, you know what, and maybe it's best. Okay, if they don't want to be in their kids' lives for whatever their reasonings, maybe they're broken inside and they don't want to hurt their kids. I don't know. I'm not making a justification for them, but what I've come to learn about mental health is that maybe that person, maybe that father's broken and he doesn't want to hurt his kids. He doesn't want to transfer that pain to his children. I'm not making excuses for not helping to try and provide. I'm not.